Next one is measuring the fair value of non-financial assets. First, what they mean by non-financial assets. First, we'll see what they mean by financial assets. Financial assets are the right to receive cash or the right to receive another asset or to exchange one asset for another asset. So this is basically contractual right to receive cash, assets, or exchanging one asset for the other. That is financial assets. Non-financial assets are property, plant, equipment, intangible assets. All these are non-financial assets. Property we may find an active market, but plant, equipment, active market will not be there. Okay. Same way intangible assets also difficult to find an active market. So in that case, how to value the non-financial assets? If the entity could get level 1, level 2 inputs, that is level 1 is most reliable information, we may find for property. Level 2 is possible for properties. Level 2 they may find an active market where similar assets may be sold. Okay, now the question is how to determine the fair value of the non-financial assets. IFRS 13 gives guidance that fair value of the non-financial asset should be based on its highest and the best use. That should be taken into consideration. The non-financial assets, highest and the best use. Again, when we say highest and the best use, this should be from market participants' point of view, not from entities' point of view. Okay. See, the highest and the best uses that a market participant would adopt in order to maximize its value. Okay, that should be the point. Next one, usually the current use of the non-financial asset is assumed to be the highest and the best use, unless there are evidences that there is some alternate use for that non-financial asset that may give more benefit than its current use. Okay, so they are saying that the current use of the non-financial asset is the highest and the best use. But if there are any evidence that the non-financial asset can be used for some other purpose and the benefit can be maximized, then we can take that. Okay. Again, when we say highest and the best use, these 3 points are very important. These should be taken into consideration. The use must be physically possible. Next one, it is legally permissible, financially feasible. Only if these 3 conditions are fulfilled, then we can say the asset can give its highest and the best use. Next point, when we say legally permissible, they are saying that even if legally it is not approved, the use can be legally permissible. That means maybe later in future they'll be able to get legal permission. Now it is not there. In future they may be able to obtain the permission. So these are the points you have to know for the measuring fair value of non-financial asset. Non-financial assets fair value should be determined based on its highest and the best use. When we when we determine the highest and the best use, it should be from market participant point of view. That is whatever value they are taking, or you can say the use that will maximize its value. The use which will maximize its value should be considered as the highest and the best use. Next point, the current use of the non-financial asset is the highest and the best use. But if there are evidences that it can be used for some other purpose and the benefits can be maximized, then that can be considered as the highest and the best use. When they decide the highest and the best use, the entity should consider whether it is physically possible, legally permissible and financially feasible. Okay, these are the points under measuring fair value of non-financial asset. Yeah, we will see this question. 5 quarters has purchased 100% of ordinary shares of 3 halves and is trying to determine the fair value of the net assets at the acquisition date. Okay, so parent is valuing the net assets of its subsidiary on the date of acquisition. 3 halves owns land that is currently developed for industrial use. The fair value of the land if used in manufacturing operation is $5 million. Many nearby plots of land have been developed for residential use as high-rise apartment buildings. The land owned by 3 halves does not have planning permission for residential use, although permission has been granted for similar plots of land. The fair value of 3 halves land as a vacant site for residential development is $6 million. However, a transformation cost of 0.3 million would need to be incurred to get the land into this condition. How should the fair value of the land be determined? First, you have to write about the general guidance given in IFRS 13 for valuing non-financial assets. So you can say that non-financial assets or the fair value of the non-financial assets are determined based on its highest and the best use. Highest and the best use should be taken from the market participants' point of view, and its current use is usually the highest and the best use. As such, here the land is currently used for industrial use. The points I have given here. So based on that, its current use is for industrial use. Its fair value should be taken as 5 million. Again, you can write the point that if any other alternate use will maximize the value, that can be considered. Then write the 3 points: physically possible, financially feasible, and legally permissible. From market participants' point of view, the land can be used for developing residential apartments. Okay, but there is no legal permission at present, but similar plots of land have got the permission recently. Okay, so as such, there is an alternate use for this land. The fair value, if they are using it for residential purpose, works out to $6 million, and in order to convert the land for residential purpose, you have to incur 0.3 million. So after that, the fair value comes to 5.7 million. Okay, so considering this, the fair value of the asset can be fixed at 5.7 million, as this is also preferred by the market participants. Okay, that's all. Okay, determining the fair value of non-financial assets. Yeah, next one they are giving for investor perspective. Yeah, what is the information given here? Below is an extract from a disclosure note about fair value of an entity's financial assets and liabilities. Okay, fair value of financial instruments is given. First one, they are saying financial asset traded equity. It is level 1. That means they got observable inputs, most reliable information from the active market because it is traded equity. Next one is financial liability, that is contingent consideration. They have estimated the value level 3, but this is based on level 3, that is unobservable inputs. Now they are writing about this from investors' point of view. See, investors' point of view, you understand the first one is a traded security, next one is a contingent consideration. The entity may not know exactly how much is payable. They would have used their assumptions, estimations in determining the cash flows that may be paid for this contingent consideration. Here the point is, from investors' point of view, they are saying that level 1 information is most observable, most reliable information. No judgment of the management is needed to determine the fair value of traded equities. And because no judgments, there is no risk of bias, and this information whatever given under level 1 can anytime be verified by the investors by referring to the information available in active market. Okay, whereas the second one, that is a contingent consideration, it is based on level 3 input. Level 3 input means they have to use high level of judgment. Then there is risk of bias. Management is making estimations, there is a risk that the management may make inaccurate estimations. Eventually, the amount what they have to pay may be totally different from what they are showing in the disclosures. Okay, and not only that, when they use level 3, the entity should also give the approach or the method they have used in making their estimations. Okay, all these information should be given. Then only investors can know whether the method they've used is appropriate or not, and the uncertainty involved in that particular estimations, all that. So from this information, they can make an informed decisions whether they should continue with their investments or not. Okay, that is a point from investors' perspective. Okay, that's all in IFRS 13 fair value measurement.